Don Toliver is talking about a collab album with Travis Scott. Now, is that something that is actually coming? And do we need it? That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. So obviously Don Toliver just released his new album, HARDSTONE PSYCHO. A lot of people saying album of the year. I don't quite agree with that, but I did give my thoughts on this in my review or first reaction to this. So make sure to go check that out if you want to know my thoughts about the content of the album. But obviously on that record, we had two tracks with label chief from Cactus Jack, Travis Scott, which was Ice Age, and also Inside, which was You Part 2. And a lot of people really liked those tracks, and they really liked the dynamic and the chemistry that the two of them had on those tracks. Now, I did say in my first reaction to this album already that I thought on both of those tracks, Don sounded like the feature on his own track, and Travis really carried. Travis definitely, was the main character on both of those. But that's not even what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go into what this collab album, quote unquote, could actually entail a little bit later on. But I did want to mention that Hip Hop DX, shortly after this album dropped, and before Don was talking about this collab, reported on the demand from fans that a collab album between the two of them should happen. Now, maybe it's just me, but that demand didn't really come at all in my mind, and I didn't see a lot of people talking about this, maybe just as a little bit of a side note. But I feel like everybody just wanted JACKBOYS 2 then. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on as well. But was that just something that I missed, or was that demand really there for a collab album after those features? Or at least let me say, I didn't really see the demand more than usually. I mean, more than usually people every couple of weeks say we need the Don Trav collab album, but after the album it wasn't much more than that to me. Well, anyway, then on June 25th, Don Toliver gave an interview to GQ and to Fraser Tharp, or Tharpy, correct me if I'm wrong, which was called Don Toliver on Bringing Harleys to Hip Hop, a future collab album with Travis Scott, inspiring Kendall Roy and becoming a father, where he talked a lot about the contents, the aesthetics of this new record, obviously bringing Harleys to hip hop. But as you could tell about the headline of this interview, a future collab album with Travis Scott. And in the interview, obviously, he was asked by Fraser, you have two Travis features on the album. At this point, you two have enough songs together to make an album out of, which I don't think is true. They had less than 10 songs together, I believe. Are we ever going to get a proper collab album down the line? And then Don responded, I don't know what the future holds, but I'm going to tell you this. I love Travis so much, and me and him we grow together. So, I mean, you can just about expect possibly anything from us. I can't sit here and be like, oh, we're doing the album next year. But I mean, I can just say this. Me and Travis, it'll be a beautiful thing. And it doesn't look too far away on the horizon. So we'll see. So this is neither really a confirmation that this is coming. It's neither really saying that it's in the works. So I don't know, if people were just jumping to conclusions too quick, but he's saying he can sit here and say that that is coming next year. He just says that it's possible and it's not too far away on the horizon. So he's kind of like going back and forth between, oh, it's not happening. Well, it could. Maybe it's not that far in the future, but it's not coming next year. I feel like he doesn't really know himself when this is going to drop or if it's even happening at all. Fraser then also tweeted this on X, obviously, talked to Don Toliver about this new Sons of Anarchy shit he's on and why he and Travis don't just do an album together at this point, which says why they don't just do an album together. I mean, in the interview, he didn't really deny it. So I don't know what he was referring to at that point, but still, it's not really that deep. But if we actually consider this, the two of them having a collab album together, I see a couple of problems this could run into. And look, I love Don. I love Travis. I love both of them. I love Cactus Jack in general. And I really want JACKBOYS too. And I do think that Don Toliver, as a standalone artist on HARDSTONE PSYCHO, dropped his best project to date. And I like the aesthetics he was going for. I like the different style that he was trying on this, trying a little bit more of a obviously rock star or metal or hardcore aesthetics on that, which was definitely what he achieved with all the bikes and stuff like that. And Travis does his own thing as well. Utopia was amazing, and JACKBOYS is always great. But there's a couple of things that I always thought, why aren't we talking about this? We're acting like this album would save the genre. But as I said earlier, on both of the tracks on this record, Ice Age and Inside You Part 2, Travis is more dominant on there. Dawn sounds like the feature on his own track, and I would feel like on a collab album, Trav would definitely be the dominant guy. Kind of sounds weird talking about it like that, but you get what I mean. And also, I've seen a lot of people talk about how Dawn is now finally at the level of Travis, so he's not like that little guy anymore that gets carried around with the Cactus Jack crew. He's his own artist, and I love to see that. Really, I truly love that. But it also means that, you know, Dawn is kind of becoming a little Travis Scott. And on a couple of occasions on the record, you could hear Dawn really, I don't want to say blatantly, but obviously copying Travis and looking for a couple of things of inspiration here and there, which isn't bad, but I'm just saying that the one guy is definitely influenced by the other, and I don't know how that would influence, you know, a collab album. I mean, Future and Lil Uzi also did a collab album, and one of them was heavily influenced by the other. It worked too, but it's definitely something to consider. What I really want to say about this, when you think back to the collab songs that Dawn and Travis have had together, isn't it the case that Dawn has always worked better as a feature artist for Travis? The features on Astroworld, on the first JACKBOYS, those are legendary. That's the Dawn we love. And obviously a lot of the, you know, stuff that he did, Embarrassed, for example, or the stuff on Life of a Dawn is not bad, but we really like those Dawn features on Travis tracks. At least I do. And look, rather than this collab album that they're now talking about, I would just much rather just get JACKBOYS 2 and have the two of them collab on there. And I mean, JACKBOYS 2 was recently hinted at Summer Smash Festival by Travis, who was, you know, saying that they're thinking about doing it, I think he said. And he also called out each Cactus Jack member, you know, on his own. I would much rather just get JACKBOYS 2 and have the both of them collab on there. Maybe the two of them have 3-4 songs on there together, and just, you know, together with also the rest of the crew. I hope the second JACKBOYS is longer than the first one, with a longer track list, so that we can, you know, really have a couple of more songs, maybe to also satisfy the fans that have been wanting this collab album between the two. But I think that's going to be, at least in the midterm, gonna be the best solution. Just a JACKBOYS 2 with some Dawn and Travis songs on there, I think would satisfy the most amount of fans, rather than them having their own collab album and then also JACKBOYS 2, when the demand, at least as I view it, is really more for JACKBOYS 2 than this collab album. That would also run into a couple of the problems that I discussed in this video. But I really want to know what y'all think about this. How do you feel about this collab album? Were you really also observing this demand as much as a couple of these articles were reporting on it? Or was it just me that missed it? And do you see kind of the same problems this would run into, and if JACKBOYS 2 wouldn't just be a better solution overall? Let me know all your thoughts on this in the comments down below.
If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.